staff, management, or sponsors. AMP2.tv presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.tv. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome back to Tell Us Your Biz. My name is Jackie Birch, and I am here with Elite Home Healthcare, Dan and Bernard. Dan, you're the founder of this, correct?
Yep, owner and operator. Founded it in 2011. Registered nurse by trade. My business partner is also a registered nurse. We kind of got into it, was working for another home health agency and decided to start it in 2011.
Absolutely. And Bernard is the joining component, correct?
Yep, he's another component of the healthcare team we're going to talk about tonight. It's Dr. Garcia. I've known for 15 years. He's a primary care doctor. You introduce yourself, Doc?
Yeah, my name is Bernard Garcia. I'm a physician in Fort Lauderdale. I have an office. We see a lot of patients, and now we're
closer to your mic.
And now we're getting in a partnership with Elite to do some work in the community to help Medicare
Absolutely.
patients.
It's only going to expand. So, Dan, tell me a little bit about your business, the background about it, who it benefits, why you get into it.
Sure. So, like I said, in 2011. I'm a nurse at a trade, got into it, and it benefits Medicare patients 65 and older. Basically, if they're homebound and they need care, we can provide that care. We provide skilled nursing, occupational therapy, physical therapy, social workers. We do aqua therapy. We like to kind of be the boutique home care company. We're not the average home care cookie cutter company. We like to kind of set ourselves apart by providing that extra special care,
Absolutely.
to our patients.
Absolutely. So, what is the most requested service? What do you feel like you are most comfortable doing?
Well, we're comfortable in doing anything that we're going to
Great.
provide. We're not going to provide unless we are comfortable.
Great.
But most requested, obviously, is skilled nursing. Physical therapy is a very key component because most of these patients are homebound, which means that they do have certain things that they can't do for themselves physically. So physical therapy does strengthen them, get them back to optimal care
Great.
and able to care for themselves.
Great.
We help with all the activities of daily living.
Wonderful.
We help with medication monitoring. We help with management. We help with anything that can actually make the patient feel more comfortable at home.
And this is Jackie. Jackie and I have the same name, so we're sitting next to each other. Jackie, how do you play a role into this?
Well, I came on the team about 4 months ago. I'm a 10-year veteran of home health care.
Great.
I just really like the values that Elite has. I wanted to go back to someone who really follows the grassroots. I can tell you personally, Dan puts every patient as a priority. Everybody is a
Perfect.
VIP care. So when he says boutique, it is absolutely that.
Because I think that is such a concern with people who are checking into healthcare in general. They want to be a priority. I can't tell you how many doctors that I have been to where I'm just a number and they don't remember my face, and you really have to do some digging, and it's hard.
Well, patients do feel that way, and people like Jackie, she's director of marketing, but it's not marketing. What Jackie is, she's somebody who connects the components of healthcare. She goes to the primary care doctors like Dr. Garcia and myself. She goes and talks to the patients. She finds out what these patients are facing challenge-wise, what the
Great.
doctors are facing challenge-wise,
Oh,
and
wow.
she puts it all together. It's a puzzle that needs to be put together, and it enables us to give them better outcomes in the end.
That's really interesting how you said that she goes to the doctors and sees what they're facing troubles with. Can you break that down for me?
Yeah, basically when she goes and sees the doctors, we need to get a referral from the doctor. But when
Right.
she sees the doctors, if you're good at what you do, you're not just in there talking about the patients that the doctor might have given us. You're going to be asking him questions about what he's facing as far as challenges for his patients that are in his office. Because these are the people that we're being judged on poor outcomes because we're not able to follow through and provide them the proper care. So by identifying those challenges that these
Right.
people are facing, we're able to go and be cohesive and mend that gap there, and then provide a better outcome for the patients.
Absolutely. So what are some of the challenges that you face that you are fine facing because you have the answer.
Well, number one, we don't have all the answers individually.
good.
So that's why it's important that we, as components of the healthcare team, we work together, because together we can come up with the answers. But what we're finding is when patients come out of the hospital, they're scared. I mean, they're afraid.
Right.
What medicines am I supposed to take? I used to take this. Should I take that? They don't know who to call when there's a problem. So what happens is the patients ends up back in the hospital, and this becomes a problem to the healthcare system. So what we're finding is that we need to be in there to bridge that gap. If we're going to provide
Absolutely.
quality care, that's what we need to be doing. So how do we do that? Is by proper assessments, okay? Proper communication amongst the team. I mean, this is important. Good education, okay?
Great.
Continuity of care. I mean, if we don't have continuity of care, how do we identify a backslide or a problem or a patient that's regressing in their disease process?
Great.
So these are important things that we need to be able to do.
One of the things I think, and I apologize, one of the things that I do and I feel that is very important is I have a open communication with probably every physician and
That's
every hospital that I talk to.
Right.
I make it a point to go out and meet every patient. Why? Because I need to know your story. If I know your story, then I can go and talk to Dr. Garcia and I can go and say, Dr. Garcia, this is what I see. Can you take over? Can you tell me what you see? And let's put a solution together so that this patient is safe and healthy at home.
You have kind of the comfort and you have the medical backgrounds, both conjoining in it. And comfort is all people want. Comfort, care, to be a priority, but to know what's going on and to know how you can be better. And so when you say do you keep logs? How do you monitor somebody's progress?
Of course, documentation's key.
Documentation.
Communication's key. But being clinically minded, I mean, being a nurse, I've known Dr. Garcia for 15 years. This is kind of what sets us apart. We're not corporate America here looking at dollars and cents. We are a boutique-like company that if there's an issue or a problem, we can stop. We're not a locomotive that just needs to be, it's going to take forever to stop it. We can make those adjustments to better, have a better outcome for the patient, which is really important. I mean, because a lot of companies can't do that.
Right.
We stay within the confines of the law and the regulations, and again, it's about better outcomes. But the way Dr. Garcia and I go about this at Elite is we're getting better outcomes and we're reducing costs.
How are you reducing cost?
Because overall, if we can prevent hospitalizations, which
Okay,
Elite
great.
has 11.9% rehospitalization rate, which is the lowest around, that reduced the costs.
That is the biggest problem that we have in the healthcare right now. That's how we are
Absolutely.
getting judged.
Yeah.
We're getting on outcomes. Medicare, some of the stats are 20% of the Medicare beneficiaries are getting readmissions, and it's costing the system about $112 billion
Right.
a year just on readmissions.
And that's such a concern for everybody. They don't want to go into the hospital because they don't want the bills after. So by the fact of you guys cutting the cost, by cutting the chances of going back into the hospital, that's huge. That is so huge.
Well, it's huge to the government. I mean,
Right.
they are basically grading us on this. I mean,
Yeah.
we are in the baby boomer generation here. There's a strain on the healthcare system.
Okay.
So reducing costs are key. I mean, that's number one. I mean, we're constantly getting our payments reduced, and we still got to provide quality care. How do we do that? I mean, we do that by communicating better. Okay, we have to communicate better. We have to just be more vigilant in what we do. I mean, and so again, I mean, Dr. Garcia and I, we've had a partnership. We've known each other for a long time. You have to have the same vision in what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And there has to be a quality there.
Yeah, no, what we do is direct communication. I speak to Jackie almost every day, all the time, with text. Hey, this patient
Absolutely.
needs this patient needs
7
that.
days a week.
7 days a week, on the weekends. This patient, can you do this for me? This patient needs that. Can you see this patient? And then so I try to do that as fast as possible.
Right.
In order, because remember, I have an office too at the same time. So I have a team actually helping me to help Dan and Jackie get these patients taken care of so they don't go back into the hospital.
Absolutely. And that's another big thing. Now that you're explaining communication, I can understand that more. People don't communicate, and that's where the problems come in. People are misdiagnosed, given prescriptions that they don't even need. They're paying for things they don't need. Have you dealt with people that go through this?
Listen, assessment and diagnosis are the two main things. If we are not, we're the eyes basically. If we're not assessing properly, we're not going to diagnose properly.
Right.
So it's very important when my component in home health, I go in and see the patient, that we get a full picture of what's going on with the patient, because that has to be communicated back.
Absolutely.
And if we're not doing our job, then it's not going to enable the next person to do theirs. So again, it's major. They're all components that need to
Right.
come together in
Right.
order to stop the leaking in the gaps that are going on out there, and we've got some solutions here tonight we're going to talk about in the next segment.
Absolutely.
But that's what's going to help somewhat stop this from happening going forward.
But for
definitely.
sure, Dan is definitely correct in the fact that we do paint the picture for Dr. Garcia. Dr. Garcia can
Wonderful.
see that patient in the office, but until he makes a home visit, he doesn't actually see what's going on with that patient. Is that patient eating? Are their lights on? Are they
Absolutely.
struggling? Are they struggling to buy their medications because they don't have enough money
Right.
to pay their bills and do the medications? So with Dr. Garcia, we almost go in, we do the assessment, and then we report back to him. He has an open communication with us on every patient. We discuss, it's almost like we do a little care conference almost every day on every patient that we're both simultaneously seeing at the same time.
So how do you have time for this? How do you make time? How many patients are you focusing on at a time? How does this work?
Well, I mean, we started, like I said, from ground up. I mean,
Right.
in 2011. Now we are at about 400 active patients in a 7-county area.
Great.
We go from Broward County all the way up 7 counties north. Listen, you have to keep hiring quality people. The one good thing that I have, an advantage I have, is being clinical. I know what I'm hiring. I know who I'm dealing with, because I'm not sitting here as, the CEO, just a businessman, that knows the dollars and the cents and
Right.
so on and so forth. I understand the clinical component of it, and it's actually the number one reason why I got into it. It sounds a little cliche, but
No.
we're in here to provide quality care. And
Absolutely.
that's why we got into it to begin with. I mean, that's why Dr. Garcia became a doctor. He didn't go and spend how many years in medical
too many.
school just to be a doctor. So he could put DR in front of it, right?
Exactly. And we have a team of 3 nurse practitioners plus myself.
Wow,
Then we go
okay.
see the patients, and then we have a full office, so we take turns, whoever does home visits, and transition of care.
And like Jackie mentioned before, when you go into those conditions, you see, are their lights on? Are they eating? What are they eating? What are they doing? When you go to a doctor's office, you're sitting in the waiting room for at least an hour and a half. By the time you get in to see the doctor, you don't want to even be there. So you
The
kind
blood
of,
pressure's up.
the blood pressure's up, everything. And
Exactly.
you're sitting there, you're like, don't go up, don't go up. I don't want to deal with
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
It's time. It's
Yeah.
all about, I think people don't want to have their time wasted. And from what you're explaining, that really, would you say that
Yeah, I mean, listen, you never know what you're going to find. Dr. Garcia can send a patient home on Lasix to diurese them because they have too much fluid. They go home, they take it with their McDonald's drink, and they're eating their fries. We don't get the full picture, and so the doctor's really chasing his tail. He can give them all the meds he wants in the world, but if they're not following the correct things that they need to follow as far as lifestyle, then he can't. He has no idea. So the home health
Right.
component comes in, and we identify that for him because we can see the everyday lifestyle when we do our visits, where he can't. He can make the recommendations. So that's where it becomes important that these components are put together.
But that's where, just anything in life, you could give them all the outlets that they need. It just comes down to the individual. However, what's different about you guys is you guys communicate. You visualize
And educate.
and educate. When you say educate now, can you explain, just elaborate more on how you educate and what you educate?
Well, again, it's identifying the disease process right off the bat. Is it a new disease process for the patient? If it is, there's going to be a lot more education required. If it's a chronic condition, again, what we try to do is re-educate them.
Okay.
And then we try to give them an outlet of who to call once they start, identifying certain symptoms, so that we can prevent an exacerbation or a hospitalization.
And it's not just handing them a pamphlet. It's
No.
not just giving them a number. You're sitting down. You're taking the time because you care.
Right.
And I think that just demonstrates such a picture for people that's what you want. You're in a very vulnerable state. Some people are very closed off, but
I mean, listen, healthcare is, none of us want to sit and listen and think about these things.
Absolutely.
But we're all going to go through the system at one point
Right.
of using healthcare. It's usually just doing our yearly annuals, and a lot of us miss that. Let's be
Absolutely.
honest.
Yeah.
But eventually, you need it. You eventually need it when you don't think you're going to need it, and that's really, you have to prepare yourself for that.
Right.
So that's what we're there to do. I mean, it's not easy to be a patient. I've been on the patient side, and it's really not easy.
Absolutely.
So we're there to kind of be the eyes. Sometimes we can identify things that you can't identify yourself in your own environment.
right. That leads me to my next question. Do you get a lot of phone calls for concerned family members?
Oh,
Or-
of course.
Okay.
Every
And
day.
how do you deal with that? Because I know that a lot of people, like you said, they don't want to be a patient. They don't want to acknowledge that something is wrong.
Well, we deal with it within the confines of the law. I mean, if the
Great.
family member's been named, we have to follow HIPAA laws, and we can only give so much information.
Right.
I know people don't like to hear that, but that's what we have to do.
Good.
But we also take the information that they give us because they know the picture somewhat better than sometimes we're told.
Right.
You know, mom might tell us she does this, and this, but then the son and the daughter go, well, mom's not telling you the truth. You know, so we gather the information, we put it all together. It's a puzzle, and then we come to a plan of care.
How do I reach you?
Well, you can reach us, on we're at elitehomehealth.org on the net, and then we have a few phone numbers: 561-509-5800 in Palm Beach, and we are 954-267.
9029.
9029.
See, it takes a village.
Hey, listen, we use cell phones these days. I'm actually pretty good with
Caller
numbers.
ID.
Yeah.
Caller ID. It takes a village. I think that meaning does not just apply to parents. It applies to businesses. And you guys are a prime example of it. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. If you have any questions, please call in at 888-565-1470. We'd love to answer every one of them. And when we come back, we're going to get into a little bit of eye care VP with Bernard Garcia.
Let's all welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2 TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages or visit one of their many studios to get your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's A-M-P, the number 2.tv, or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422. You are listening to Tell Us Your Business, where our invited guests share all the knowledge of their business and how important it is what they do in our community. If you want to be part of the conversation, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and tell us what's on your mind. Now, back to Tell Us Your Business.
Tell Us Your Biz. Now we are going to focus more so on the doctor's point of view. Everybody got the personal side, and Bernard, I want to hear from you.
Okay. So I'm in the community for 15 years.
Okay.
I have an office in Fort Lauderdale, and I've been doing this for a little while. I see a lot of patients in the office, and the reason why we partner up with Elite is because we are having a lot of problems. With the patients. The patients don't call. They go home. They're tired. They don't want to come to the office. And we have to follow certain guidelines with Medicare, and it's to see the patients after hospitalizations to do the transitional of care, to make sure they're okay. And so to the readmissions, that's the biggest problem that we have.
So how did you guys come up with home care? Is this just that?
No. So one day we were talking. Actually, it was just talking in the office about a patient, and then we sat down and we just came up with ideas. So why don't we do a transitional care?
Absolutely. Yep.
Why don't we do a piece where we can help the patients, because the same problems that I have, all the doctors have.
Absolutely.
There's no communication.
Would you say that that's your biggest challenge?
That is the biggest challenge. I don't know.
What other challenges do you face?
With communications, the patients are not complying. The patients are not understanding the what prescriptions they're taking. All that stuff comes out that somebody's got to teach them. So we came up with this thing about going and actually going to see the patients in the home, and we developed another telemedicine system that we actually implemented, so the patients have constant communication with the doctor.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So about a year ago, we started doing telemedicine. I developed a program. We started doing it for our patients in the office because, so they don't wait the hour and a half just for a simple prescription.
So there's no wait when you're doing this?
No, 15 minutes.
That
The only thing, if you come in time, is 10 o'clock, and at 10:15 you want the appointment, if it's available, obviously.
Right.
You get it done. And
Jackie, you can do it on your phone. So I've loaded the iCare VIP app on someone's phone in 33 seconds. I can have my patient who was wheelchair bound, couldn't leave the house, didn't have any transportation, and within 15 minutes, Dr. Garcia was on doing the whole visit with him. The family was so excited, and it's almost like a Skype. So they're seeing Dr. Garcia.
Seeing him.
You're seeing him.
Wonderful.
So if Dr. Garcia sees that the patient needs something right then and there, he can also schedule the home visit. He comes out, his nurse practitioners.
Oh my
They take a rotation and they help the patient right then and there.
And then if you need
That is
medications
changing.
electronically, I can send them to any pharmacy.
Now, I have a question. So, from my personal experience, I have both fortunate to have my grandparents, but they don't know how to use technology. How do you, is this something that you see a lot? Do you have an alternative?
Of course.
Yeah?
Course. Yes.
He's prepared.
Always, of course. So we've purchased some tablets, and what we do for the patients who are going to be chronically needing our help, we go to the house, we set it up for them, and the only thing they have to do is make an appointment, and we leave the tablets with them for as long as they need it.
While iCare VIP is their primary source of their physician, and sometimes not even their primary, just as they need. Dr. Garcia has it set up so they can push a button. They can schedule their appointment in one button push. You put in why you need to see the doctor. Is it a rash? I'm not feeling well, a fever. And then schedule your time, and they push the button and he pops up.
Imagine the anxiety reduced there for patients. You know how many people sit out there? They're sitting there wondering who they're going to call and when they're going to call, and that's really the problem with a lot of patients. They have no idea who to call, when to call, and that really is what drives their pressure up, and their blood sugar's crazy, and so on and so forth. It's just the anxiety alone.
I think the face-to-face for my patients is the most important. The fact that they immediately calm down. I've actually gone out and done multiple visits with Dr. Garcia on my phone, on the tablets, and I've showed them and taught them how they can access Dr. Garcia, and then they see him on the tablet. They are just so happy because it's a sense of relief for them. They know that someone's there listening to them and helping them right face.
And remember, we don't want to take. We also don't want to take be taken away from their primary care physician. We don't want to do that. The only thing
and
is
it's always okay to have another perspective.
Yeah,
that's very important. And like I talked about on the previous show, it's getting into season. It's getting into where people are leaving their primary homes and they're coming down to Florida because it's beautiful in the winter and everything. They don't want to leave. And I know for myself, I moved here a year ago. I still am learning who to go to, where to go. I love the comfort of my home. I can't deal with the directions and all this stuff. That helps. Do you see people that don't live here permanently and visit?
All over the country.
All over the country.
Okay.
My wife is Brazilian, and she's very involved with the Brazilian community.
Wow.
So we did a lot of advertising with the Brazilian community. So now we see Brazilians. I speak Portuguese a little bit. I defend myself. I understand. So now my
oh my God.
And so we've been seeing California, Utah, San Francisco. I mean, everywhere.
Hawaii. I thought you told me.
Hawaii.
It's 24/7. You guys get them, right?
We get them all.
So we have to give a great example. We had someone who is in the law enforcement field. He was on call all the time. He had an emergency. We connected him with Dr. Garcia, and I think he sat there on a Sunday morning at 9:15, saw the doctor, got what he needed, and got back to work right away. So it was amazing. It was
it's just shocking to me because everybody loves their days off. Everybody loves their own personal time. It's essential for everybody, and I'm not knocking it. But with a lot of doctors, it's, I'm not in the office today, you're going to have to wait. I'm not going to be there Wednesday, I have a conference. You're going to have to wait till 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I probably won't feel like this, or if I do, I'll be in the hospital. So I think that that's something that's so important that people understand that you are seen. Now, how long does it typically take for them to see you if you are busy on a busy day?
No. We have a schedule every 15 minutes from 9 to 5 now.
Every 15 minutes?
Every 15 minutes. So they can see us. Remember, I have other nurse practitioners that we take turns
Okay.
and doing that. So they
That's
can see
important.
a provider. A young lady today, she needed her birth control. It only was 2 pills left. And she called. It's like, oh my God, this is the best thing because I don't have to leave work.
Yeah.
I don't have to take the day off or half the day off. I don't lose money.
Right.
And
Oh
that's
my
it,
gosh.
done.
And Jackie, he takes every insurance. So when I say
That was my next question.
they do cash. They do also 3 separate. There's on the app. There's a cash pay. There is all the medical insurances, and then there's Medicare. So
Okay.
you can pick which tab you fall under. And I have to tell you, I love that you also have a pediatrician, nurse practitioner on board. So we had to send someone over who happened to have a little girl who was sick. He can see them right away.
Absolutely.
The worst thing is to take your kid that's not sick into a doctor's office, because if they're not sick already, they are definitely going to be sick within a week. I can promise you
when
that.
they come
I've got
back.
3 kids, so I know.
Yeah. I remember growing up, my mom would cover our faces, go into the well room, go into the well. It's crazy. It's scary, and you're sitting there in the office for at least an hour. Kids are coughing, and kids are really,
Sure.
really easily contagious.
Yep.
It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yep.
So when somebody calls you with the problem and they need to come into the office, they could just go right into the office.
Yes.
Even-
So if I see the patient and I think they need to come to the office because I need to physically examine them, then of course they come in right away and then we have an appointment for them, so they don't have to wait for 2 hours or.
Has there ever
so
been a time where you saw someone and you said go to the emergency room?
Yes, of course.
Do you work with special doctors? Do you work with special ERs, hospitals?
We have privileges at Holy Cross and Imperial Point.
Cool.
But if somebody's from somewhere else, obviously you send them to the emergency
Absolutely.
closest
Nearest
emergency
Closest,
room.
nearest
You know,
emergency.
there's only been a couple times that that's happened.
Now is it almost like an urgent care? I'm getting the feeling of you.
No. For usually we're doing it for a lot of our patients just to follow up. With the lead, for example, is the elderly people. We go see them and then we schedule a telemedicine visit a week later just to see how are they doing.
Wow.
Remember, we're not trying to take over the care. We're just doing the transitional care, make sure everything is done, so they can go back to the regular
And
doctors.
just ensure communication.
Exactly.
Ensure
And
communication.
there they have it. I have a young lady who had a stroke, and she's homebound, and she can
Can't get to the doctor.
She can go to the doctor. So the sister
Absolutely.
does it for me, and then once a week or every 2 weeks I see her, make sure everything's okay because she's got some other problems, and that's it.
Right.
And this because she cannot actually go to the doctor.
Especially for somebody, and speaking for myself, I moved here alone. I don't have somebody to help me get somewhere if I need to get somewhere. If I'm really sick on the couch and I'm not that sick to call the ambulance,
Yeah.
and I need to talk to a doctor, this would be so beneficial. Plus, you're laying on your couch in your pajama pants. You don't have to.
Imagine the cost reduction right there, though.
Right.
Right
The
there,
cost reduction.
absolutely.
People not having to go to the emergency room. I mean, when you're on a Saturday and Sunday, which doctor office are you going to go to? I mean, granted, there's urgent care now, but where are you going to go to where you're not going to sit for 3 or 4 hours? So it really does. It keeps people from going to the urgent care, and then they wait till they're too sick, and then they're in the emergency room.
That's
and
what I
that's
think
the
is the
issue,
biggest
I think.
issue.
That's-
Yeah,
that's the issue.
absolutely.
So we got to give them an outlet, and,
Yeah.
and this provides them an outlet to where they can get the prescription they need. They have the care that they need. They know who to call when they need to, and a lot of it's anxiety. Let's be honest. A lot of it's
Yes,
anxiety.
you don't
We don't know
wanna
who to call,
accept
when to
it.
call, and having that there, typically you probably won't even have to use it.
I think also people don't want to accept the fact that something could be wrong. However, being at home and just picking up the phone and saying, look, like my stomach's been hurting, whatever the case is, you're vulnerable, but you're in the comfort of your home. You're in your environment. You're not feeling like you're on the metal table and you're being examined and this is life or death and you better tell me all of your symptoms. I don't like to go to the doctor because
Who
of
does?
that. No one does. Oh my God, this is a game changer. How do I find you?
So you can just go to iCareVIP.com, and then in there you have the instructions how to download the video component to it and how to make an appointment. That's
Also,
it.
Absolutely.
Garcia Medical Complex, right?
Garcia
I mean,
Medical Complex is our
if you're a
office.
primary care doctor, I mean, I've known this guy 15 years, and he's my primary care.
Yeah.
So, at least I won't have to probably at least use the tablet, I guess,
No,
to get a
probably not.
prescription.
That is so funny.
But he's a
That
good
is so
doctor.
great.
Known him for
Yeah,
many
we-
years, and this
many
is
years. We
why
work
we have a
together.
partnership, because it's important with your
Absolutely.
partners or who you're working with that you have the same mission and vision. So
That's a big thing where people come from very different backgrounds and can't find a common ground. especially in the medical field where people overprescribe, underprescribe, don't prescribe at all. There's holistic medicine, there's too much medicine. So when you can find somebody where you can work together and, you can be honest and you can, like you said, it's all about communication, transparency, and you're not trying to one-up each other. You're trying to work for the customer and the patient and have the best care provided, because my family should be treated like family anywhere.
Exactly.
I can't be successful without Dr. Garcia. Dr. Garcia can't be
Absolutely.
successful without us. I mean, what good am I if I don't have a doctor that's going to help, take care of that patient? And on the flip side, he can write all the scripts he wants, but if there's no eyes watching it out in the community, realistically, the outcomes are not going to be as good as we hoped to be.
It's all
sure,
about
can we provide
perspective.
care? Yes, but is it going to be good outcomes?
It's-
And that's what we're
yeah.
trying to do, is provide autonomy and good outcomes.
It is all about different perspectives, because you could see me with blonde hair, you could see me with brown hair, you could see me as being really ill, and you could see me as being okay, you know what, she just needs a Motrin and she'll go to sleep. Whatever the case is,
Right.
4 eyes are better than 2 eyes.
And continuity of care. Again,
Yes,
having the
yes.
same person putting those eyes on you, I can
Yes.
tell if you don't look the same today as you did last week. Okay,
Right.
and that's important, because if you have different people looking at you, how do you know if there is a regression? How
Right.
do you know that there's a backslide? You really don't. So that's important, that you have a team that is constantly looking at you for, and they can collaborate together to provide that plan of care.
Absolutely. And that's so important when patients have to go in for checkups and they miss the appointment because they don't want to go. And when they have somebody checking up on them via a tablet, via going to their homes, it's almost better, because they're in their natural element and they're not putting on makeup to look like they're not sick. They're not putting on a nice clothes when they're really not feeling well, and they can't hide it. There's some things that
I
you
see
just
a lot of
can't
people in
hide.
the pajamas, trust me.
It's almost like back to
I can
basics.
promise you, you're never
feel
going to see
like
that
it's
with me.
I feel like the new wave is definitely the home visit, because I feel like back in the day,
Absolutely.
your doctor came out with his little, with his
It
little
is.
This is what we're
satchel,
doing, yeah,
and
exactly.
we're doing the same thing. So one
I
of the
always
things
say
we're-
history repeats itself, and this is a prime example, because, but you saw, whenever I used to watch a show, it was Little House on the Prairie.
Oh,
My
yeah, I
mom used to
remember
make
that
me
one.
watch, and I said, "Mommy, why are they going into their house?" And she said, "That's how it was." And I
Yeah.
always said, "Can the doctor just come here? I don't feel like leaving. I don't
Yeah.
feel like leaving."
Right.
Look
Yeah,
what's
let's kind of
going
get into
on.
that day and age. I mean, let's look at it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're in a day and age of social media. You can get the word out through internet, Facebook, whatever. Healthcare needs to be the same way. We need to have
Absolutely.
communication the same way. That's why we go to EMR systems. This is why our communication needs to be more effective, and that's where the
Absolutely.
outcomes become more effective.
When I see people from other states, I can send the medications to any, as long as the
That's
person with the pharmacy
amazing.
number,
Yeah.
the pharmacy number, boom, I send it.
Just
That's
think
it.
about being on vacation. Like, at least I have this peace of mind that I'm going to be in New
wow.
York, and
Yep.
I'm going to call Dr. Garcia if, God forbid, I get a cold, and I'm going to be able to get back on that plane safely and get back to my.
Do you help them find pharmacies near them?
Yeah, we can do that.
Or-
Yeah. If they're in New York or something, I just we can Google it. What's the zip
Okay.
code, what's the closest. This is really easy. As long as we get a phone number.
That's amazing.
The program automatically gives you the address.
That is so
and everything else.
unbelievable.
I
It's
can
a little
give the
bit of peace of
patient.
mind.
It is
Yeah,
such
no,
a
it
peace of
is.
mind. I know
Yes.
whenever I go away, it's always a thought of, I really don't want to get sick, because one, I don't know anybody there that would help me, like a primary care, or two, I don't want to miss out.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be on the beach, you could say, I think I'm getting a cold. Can you just send a prescription over? I
Yeah.
don't feel very well.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that Debbie Downer ruining the vacation for the family
Debbie
either.
Downer.
I mean, seriously, really, you're sick. Well, why don't you just go take 2 aspirin and lay over in the
You don't
corner?
wanna
We're
be
all
a
having
bitter
a good time
Betty.
here. Come on. No, but seriously, who do you call? And you don't know who to call. You're
You
right
don't know
about
who to
that.
call.
So-
And people don't realize the American Medical Association has said that about 85 to 90% of the visits can be done through telemedicine.
Unbelievable.
So we can do this. Wow. It's not,
What are
it's
some of
not-
the most common phone calls that you get?
for UTIs, colds. A lot of them I just do follow up for my patients. For example, at home, at the office. I'm sorry. I do follow ups. For
Okay.
example, they came in and they're drew the labs and they went on the labs instead of me having to call them and tell them everything's okay. And when you call, it's another 15 minutes of questions. Well, what's my this? What's my that? So we do a schedule follow up this way. I see them. I tell them all the stuff. Refills, medications. That's most of
Okay.
them.
I can even speak from personal experience, because whenever I pick up the phone to call my mom, she always says, Jackie, we need to Skype, because I don't do phone calls. I can't focus. I'm getting distracted. It does something when you're looking at the person.
Of course.
And like I keep saying, you're in the comfort of your own home. You're in your own state. Your routine's not being messed up. Your time is not being wasted. It is what it is, and it's absolutely
The only
amazing.
thing I tell the parents is the patients is not to call me when they're driving. They do
Absolutely.
this all the time.
Yes.
I never really thought about
my
that.
goodness.
You're
definitely
gonna
shouldn't be
have
doing
an
that.
accident. I'm like, come on, park the car, talk to me.
You're like, I literally see a state trooper behind you.
And I'm like, oh.
I never really thought about
Yeah,
that.
no, I mean, you know,
You're like,
you
if he
call
gets
it like
pulled
that.
over, I'm gonna have to hang up,
Right,
and it's
yeah.
not on me.
I'm like, I'm warning, yelling at people.
It's like, are you upset because you're driving or you're not feeling well?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go to another commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the new services that you guys are providing. I'm really excited to learn more about that. And I want to know more about your partnership. I want to know how it is so great and how it got to that point. As always, call in at 888-565-1470. We'd love to hear your questions, comments, and concerns, and we'll be right back.
So,
Let's all welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2 TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages or visit one of their many studios to get your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's A-M-P, the number 2.tv, or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422. You are listening to Tell Us Your Business, where our invited guests share all the knowledge of their business and how important it is what they do in our community. If you want to be part of the conversation, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and tell us what's on your mind. Now, back to Tell Us Your Business.
And welcome back to Tell Us Your Business. I am here with the new, the improved, the newest, to the best technology there is out there. We were just at commercial break and I was telling him that I want to learn more. I want you to put this on my phone and I'm going to follow up with you. And if you guys are feeling somewhat the same way, just download the app. It takes 2 seconds and just look at it. You don't have to do anything. Just do some research.
33, I think, exactly.
30.
That's what he said.
I've tried it a couple times, so
When you have good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you're not driving. I mean, people, come on.
Yeah, please.
Really?
Thank you.
Let's
We're in
be
this day
safe.
and age.
Yeah.
Anyway, how did you guys become partners? Tell me about it. What drove you and what drives you every day to stay partners? Because nobody agrees on everything. So what do you do when you disagree? How do you build from that?
Disagreements are okay. I mean, listen,
Right.
it's common goals is what we're looking
Yep.
for. We're looking for patient outcomes. I've known Bernard for 15 years plus, and you listen, we've got the same common goals here. We both face the same challenges. I can only
Absolutely.
exist if I have a good partner, and he can only exist if he has a good partner. We
Absolutely.
don't have the answers on our own. We need to come together, and we can provide answers or solutions when we come together. So that's how, the big problem out there today right now is that we're all being graded on outcomes, and even the hospitals are dealing with this issue.
Yeah.
Patients go into the hospital. A lot of people might not know this. You go into a hospital, the patient gets out, and if they go back on readmission within 30 days, the hospital's not getting reimbursed for that.
No.
They're not getting paid.
Not at all.
So guess what? They're coming down and they're bringing a hammer down on everybody. So that it's hurting the system, and we're in a system where you have the baby boomer generation putting strain on us, okay? It's putting strain on that system, okay? So there's a lot of people going into the hospital. What can we do to reduce that is number one. And what can we do to reduce the cost, and what can we do to help the patient? So this is where, me and Dr. Garcia, Elite and Dr. Garcia, we got together and we said, okay, what can we do to do this? And he's got Eye Care VIP. He approached me and here we are. I mean, I'm the eyes out there in the community helping identify things for doctors, but he can also empower me by having a doctor now right there at my side. Anytime we identify something, I have the same issue. I have to get hold of doctors too.
Every single person, especially doctors, are putting way too much on their plates and they're not able to get as much done. Or if they are, they're not doing the work as effectively and as honestly as good as they can. Psychology says you can't multitask. So with the eyes and the knowledge and everything behind this, are you seeing results? I mean, I'm so interested in it. I just...
Still new.
No,
still new.
Still
Still
new?
doing it, but we're seeing
The
some
results,
results.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, results. I mean, it's easy
Immediate.
because the patients are getting the things they get done in a timely manner. The problem is that we get asked. The system asks of us, doctor, a lot of things.
Right.
We have to document. We have to make sure everything is done correctly. We have to take care of this. We have to take care of that. And it's very hard on us. So the time-wise, patients require that we're living longer and we're living with a lot of disease. So,
Absolutely.
And so it becomes a lot more complicated. Multi-medication.
And we're being judged.
And we're being judged
And
on
we're
all
being
that
judged
stuff.
for it. But what we have to figure out is not worry about the outcomes we can't control. Worry about the things we can control, which is good assessment skills, continuity of care, and partnerships with Dr. Garcia, where we communicate well. Those are the things that I can control at Elite, and he can control at Garcia Medical Complex that enable us to provide better quality care. It sounds cliche, but this is where our numbers are up and our outcomes are better and our patients are happier.
Absolutely.
And this is where it matters. Is your partnerships are key, because that is the healthcare continuum, the component that you have to basically, complete.
And just talking to you guys, I mean, you guys are so authentic. You're so real. It's difficult to kind of distinguish if somebody's telling you the truth or if somebody's not telling you the truth. But, you guys have been in this business for how long? And you're working together and talking to you and doing research on this even before we came on the show because I was interested. It's everything lines up. Everything is real. Everything is true. And I wouldn't feel like you were trying to take my money.
You gotta love what you do.
You gotta love what you do. That is so true. I mean,
Listen,
very
it's
passionate.
part of the reason why Dr. Garcia is a good partner for me, because he spends a lot of time researching.
Good.
He's always on the cutting edge of what to
everything's
provide for
changing,
patients out there,
right.
and that's important. I mean, we're not just there to provide cookie cutter care. We're there to provide cutting edge care, the better to one up the last
Absolutely.
guy. Not because it's a competitive thing.
No.
But listen, I mean, if we're not continually getting better at what we're doing, then we're doing ourselves an inservice.
That just leads to a common knowledge thing. If you're not pushing yourself, if you're not feeling challenged when you're sick, if you're not feeling challenged by the things that you're telling them to do, whatever it is, you're not growing and you're staying very complacent and you're never going to get the results that you desire. So with the constant research, I mean, there's millions of things coming out every day. My head hurts this way, my stomach hurts that way. Whatever it is, you have to be up and you have to be knowledgeable and you have to be ready and willing to take on that patient. What do you guys... there's so many questions. I mean, how do you guys kind of fit it all in? You're 24/7. How do you do it?
No, you go ahead. You do it.
Listen, I mean, again, it's just keeping yourself on your toes. I mean, we have to stay diligent in what we're doing, and we have to care about what we're doing, and you're going to find that at this table, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, our vision going forward is every patient coming out of the hospital should be seen by this Eye Care VIP. Okay, and that's our vision.
As a
That's
transition.
our vision as a transition
As a
care
transition. So
solution.
We're not going to take away from any of the PCP's primary care. All we are is an extra extension. We are that extra hand. You know how everyone always says, I wish I had another hand or another arm. I need to be able to do three things at once.
Right.
Well, what we're doing with Elite and Eye Care VIP is actually bridging that together.
Unbelievable.
We are going to make sure that we are reporting back to the primary care physician. This is what we saw. We want to make sure that we're helping them. There are PCPs out there and primary care doctors who are not able to get a patient in within a week or 2 weeks. And now we're on a deadline that we have to see every patient. Well, let me help you, doctor. Yeah, and I've actually talked to a lot of my physicians that I work with, and they love it.
Right.
They actually now have a little bit of relief knowing that transitional
Somebody's
care service
watching.
And
is
it'll have them
watching
be
out
more
for them.
productive with their job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody's watching their back. And then the hospitals are going to be happy because we're going to reduce that rehospitalization rate. And most
Unbelievable,
importantly,
The patient.
The
The
patient.
patient's going home in sound mind, knowing that they've got these prescriptions, they know what to take, they know who to call when something's not right. This isn't just for the acute patient that's got something going on and we have to try to reconcile what's going on. This is for the chronic person who all of a sudden has those symptoms. Now they know who to call. Okay? They have these symptoms, but they're like, nah, I don't want to waste my time, go to the doctor, it's too much
this and
time.
that, I don't-
Right.
You make a phone call, you go to eye care VIP,
and
boom,
then we're done.
before it exacerbates.
And it's
then in the
almost a
hospital.
little bit more difficult for somebody who is chronic because once you start feeling the symptoms, it's like, okay, I know what to do. This obviously happens all the time. Why call the doctor and just let them know? But then sometimes it happens where you're like, I've never really felt this symptom, but I know the diagnosis. I know what to do. It's not really getting better, but it's not worth a doctor visit. That's cut. You have 15 minutes and you have an answer.
Right.
You know, worst comes to worst, you do have to go to an office. When you do have to go to an office,
Sounds so bad,
how
yeah.
is that? How
I
does
mean,
that?
they can go back to their primary care physician. You know,
Sure.
like I said, we're not trying to take away from them. We're not trying
Absolutely
to become
not.
their doctors. We're trying to do the transitional care. Medicare came up with a stat that 75% of the readmissions are due because of lack of transition of care.
Okay.
And so you can they can save a lot of money, and obviously the patient. The
Right.
patient doesn't want to go back to the hospital, obviously,
No.
right? Because the core mortality and the comorbidity getting other infections, getting more complicated just because in their setting.
I mean, well, think about it, Jackie. I mean, you get a patient that goes into the hospital and they've got the disease process going on and the doctor puts them on a medication. Well, they're on the same medication at home. They get sent home with a prescription in the same family drug, and now they're taking two of them. So it's important that these medications get reconciled, that we identify that, hey, you shouldn't be taking this beta blocker because you're taking another beta blocker.
Right.
Those are the things that these patients don't know.
Right.
And so when they go home and they take a double up of medication or a double up of their diuretic or whatnot, this is where that puts them into hospitalized situations.
Absolutely.
So we
Yeah.
prevent that.
And the hard truth is not everybody's honest with what medications they're taking, partially because a lot of them don't remember all the
my
medications
God.
they're
No kidding.
taking.
Right. No.
So when you're going home and you're seeing things that, you know, you tell them to bring medication, oh, well, I forgot this that I left at home that I have to take every day, but I can't remember the name of it. I've been in that position. I suffer
Yep.
from chronic
Are
migraines.
they taking them?
Right. Well, I suffer from chronic migraines, and I had a doctor one time pull out a book of medications, and she's reading them off to me, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, let me just go home and get it. But again, that's time. I'm wasting my money on gas. I'm wasting my money. I'm not going into work right away. So just being able to visualize everything that's lined up, and now this leads to another question. I know people split up their medicines and take the bottle away and throw the bottle away, put it into an organizer. Can you distinguish what pill is what?
Oh yeah, we have an app that they can
You
get
have an
pictures. Yeah, we have the app. There's apps.
It's all technology.
Yeah,
it's
it's all
amazing.
apps right now.
Yeah.
You just pull out the picture and then this, and then it'll tell you which one it is.
That's
And in
incredible.
home care, we will do that for them. We'll split it
Absolutely.
up for them to make sure that the right pills are in the
Right.
right
Oh,
place.
good.
Follow up, make sure that they're taking their pills because we might be out there a few times a week and make sure that they've taken them from each day. Again, it's identifying those problems. You're going to find the same symptoms or the same, I guess, actions over and over. You're going to see that they're not taking those
Absolutely.
pills or not they
Yeah.
missed this pill.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going to find their
the
blood
good
pressure to
already
be
high
high.
for so long.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
The good part is that he can actually just say, okay, well, turn the screen around. Let me see what you're taking. And he can
They're fiddling around. You know something's
Yeah.
not right.
But it's amazing that you're probably getting a much better result of
Yeah.
actually knowing what your patients are taking.
And also with the electronic medical records, we have actually a record on automatically by just putting your social security number and all that stuff. Gives me a record of all the medications you've been taking. Most of them now.
Okay.
Most of them.
Right.
Okay.
Now, I grew up with a mother who was against medicine. So even if I did go to the doctor, she didn't want to put her children on all these prescriptions. How do you deal with somebody that's like that? Do you kind of just tell them, look,
Oh,
do
we
what
just
you're
had a
gonna-
patient like that, didn't we?
We did.
Wow.
We did. Just had a patient. Then you have to.
You're like, I'm going to use the outlets, but I'm going to go against the system and I'm going to challenge
you
you.
know, then you educate them, and then you give them your opinion. At the end of the day, is their decision what they want and not want to do.
And I think at the end of the day, an ordinary person who doesn't have a background in the medical field at all just wants to be safe and wants to have the comfort of knowing a medical professional's opinion that they trust. It's all about trust and communication. And speaking from somebody, I always said I wanted to be a doctor, but I could never handle it. I applaud you because it feels like in this day and age you get less and less of the people that care and less of the people that want to do what they're doing because they're piling on so much and because there's constantly new things and they're tired and they don't have help. So now what I want to know is what is up with this new service that is coming to the surface within you two.
With the transitional care.
Transitional care, yeah. I mean, it's our transitional care solution.
Okay.
So, like I said, our goal is to go to the hospitals and present this.
Great.
We want to identify these patients early. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to reduce the risk for the hospital, but at the end of the day, for the patient, the outcomes for the patients are the key. Okay, so you have to identify in order to deal with a problem.
Right.
So early identification is key. The sooner we put eyes on them is key. And whether it be home health, whether it be with Dr. Garcia, it's key. But primary care doctors cannot typically see a patient that quickly.
Absolutely.
Eye Care VIP can.
Right.
And that is the important thing. You get out of the hospital, you're not going to see your primary care doctor within the first week.
No.
You're going to be lucky if you do. Yeah. Okay, so this is where this guy comes in and his services in Eye Care VIP and Garcia Medical, along with Elite, we can identify that right away. You're going to see him within, we're going to identify the issue and you're going to see us in the first week easily, but a lot quicker than that.
Usually it's within, I can make up within 48 hours is what we're doing.
Wow.
And at sometimes even 24 hours.
Yeah.
A lot of companies out there are using a transitional care nurse. We wanted to go a little bit more. We wanted to have a physician's point of view.
Okay.
So we ended up with Dr. Garcia, came to Dan and talked about the idea. We just knew it was the right thing.
Absolutely.
Because as nurses are our eyes and ears, absolutely, but there's some things that maybe they can't prescribe or they can't catch.
We can only do so much.
You can only do so much. And even our nurse practitioners out there, they still have to, kind of read between the lines and see what the patient's taking. Having a different, we have a different perspective with Dr. Garcia.
Perspective is
it
everything.
Really does. It gives us another clarity line
Absolutely.
to every one of our patients.
Working together, though, the more and more you work together, the easier
more
and
you're
easier
gonna
it
get
gets.
done.
It gets.
Exactly.
It does. It gets easy. It's a well-oiled machine. So think about that. We just get better and better and better.
And
at
because,
it,
and because you guys already have the
patients.
knowledge. It's taking the stress out of it and the frustration out of it.
I mean, listen, it's like a pit crew changing a tire. We're going to get better and better and better at it. I mean, listen, that's what we are.
But the thing is that the nurses go in there and they can observe it, they can report things. We can actually change things. We can make orders. We can do the action.
That is the key.
Exactly.
And you can communicate. You can communicate with the doctors.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's always going to be a little bit easier if Dr. Garcia sees something. Well, this patient A came out from the hospital, and you know what? I may not agree with what that hospitalist doctor had given them. So I'm going to call his primary care, and I'm going to be the middleman. Yeah. So basically right now, he's actually helping all of these primary care doctors to make sure that their patients are staying safe.
And they're also getting credit for the patient to be seen within 7 days. Since we're seeing it before that, because that's part of how we're, like I said, we're graded on that.
I just even want to go back to, I can't get over it. You said it yourself, it's change, how you are going to change it. With the new generation and the generations to come, it's always, okay, we have all the outlets, we know what's wrong with everything. How are we going to fix it? And how are we going to change it? And with the older generations that you guys are dealing with, they've seen a lot, and they've seen good and they've seen bad. And now we're in a weird time period where no one really knows the next step, but we're trying to figure it out. Any bit of change, positive change, is going to build. And the fact that you just said that, I think that that is the clarity.
Yeah.
One last kind of a question that I have for you guys. Why do I hire you? I know all this amazing information, and I can tell anybody that why. But for somebody that maybe got on a little bit later, how are you so different? And
well, I don't think you're going to hire me if you're walking down the street, you're laying on the beach, and you're just having a normal day. You're going to hire us, obviously, if you're sick. In his case, with Eye Care VIP, it's an app you should have on your phone at all times.
Okay.
Because you don't know when you're going to need it.
Right.
You don't know when you're on your vacation you need it. So that's something that you should have. But if you're going to hire us because you're getting sound clinical advice. You're getting two components of the clinical team that are working well together and collaborating well together to prevent any leakage or or
Absolutely.
any gaps. So that's important. We're two minds together are going to be better than one.
Absolutely.
So and we have good teams that we put together here, and he put a lot of research and a lot of time into this. So this is why you hire us, because
Absolutely.
we are working together as a team.
Yep.
Now, how do I reach you guys again?
Well, elitehomehealth.org is where you're going to get us on the web. 561-509-5800 is my Palm Beach number, and 954-267
9029
is my Broward number.
And then I'm at the Garcia Medical Complex. 954-771-2111 is my office number. And then you can always reach us at icarevip.com.
Thank you, Jackie.
Absolutely amazing. You guys were a great group of people. I learned so much. I'm going to go out and download the app. Download the app today. 33 seconds. You never know when you're going to need it. Just look at it. Just browse up on it. Whatever you got to do to stay educated. See you next week. Same time, same place. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.